Yo, what's up, guys? I'm going to share something interesting with you it's going to turn your minds a little bit upside down, and I'll just go ahead. When women are pure, men will respect, nay, venerate them, and they will also hear the call, challenge them to chastity. And then I'll read right before the paragraph. Western girls running around practically naked, and then compare them with how the Hindu or Muslim women are clothed with modesty and grace and dignity. And then lastly, let's talk about this. Men, that's kind of my quotes, I just put men in there. Men, perceiving women's modesty, they would take their cue and, in return, approach the female sex with reverence instead of with today's brutal irreverence which unleashes lust and impurity. So check this out, guys, and you've seen this before as well. There is a beauty that comes with modesty. And that beauty, when you're approaching a beauty like that with modesty, like you curb your tongue and you come and approach correctly. And I'm not talking like the beauty, the sexualized beauty. I'm talking about like actual, true, modest beauty. And I know you guys have seen it before because when you see it, because it doesn't come very often, but when you see it, it's striking. It's a striking modesty and beauty that kind of puts you in awe because it looks different than everything else you've seen. It's kind of like this, like just think about like a well dressed man, um, amongst everybody else in the masses at like a rock concert. Like it's like stark. It's like what's going on? Why is this guy so straight up, so buttoned up, so put together? Makes everybody kind of flip the script and go, what's going on? But there's a truth to that. And I want to say this before everybody jumps on it, especially if this gets to the women folk and they jump on it, like, oh, modesty. Listen, I didn't say it. A man didn't say it. You want to know who said it? Check this out, guys. So I'm reading these books because I have daughters. And I want to understand the dignity that women have. So this is said, it's from a book called The Privilege of Being a Woman. And it's by Alice Von Hildebrand, who her husband was a great philosopher. All right. So she's writing on the privilege of being a woman from the woman's perspective, from the sacredness, from the modesty view, and comparing it to the culture. And this is compared to the culture like this is going back like 40 years. It was already apparent. Imagine what she would write today. So let's just read these lines again. When women are pure, men will respect, nay, even venerate them. And they will also hear the calling, the challenging of them to chastity. Okay? So again, like let's think about this line from the book, and it's on. If you get the copy, it's on page 90 of Alice von Hildebrand. Alice von Hildebrand's book on the privilege of being a woman. When women are pure, men will respect, they even venerate them, and that's what happens when there's a purity and there's a modesty in dress and appearance and the way a woman carries herself. It changes the perspective of how a man views that woman. When she's referring to Western girls running around practically naked, and then comparing them with Hindu and Muslim girls, like she's she's saying, look, here is that modesty. Here's what modesty looks like. Here's how modesty carries itself. And here's how it should be respected. Like Western women should be doing the same thing. And if they did, they would be venerated, right? Things would become more sacred very, very quickly, not, give it away because you've already seen it. You've already seen what it looks like, kind of barely clad. And that's what Alice von Hildebrand is saying. Perceiving women's modesty, men, this is men, would take the cue and return, approach the female sex with reverence instead of with today's brutal irreverence, which unleashes lust and impurity. And just think about that, guys. On those websites that have the moving pictures of things, which I can't say because YouTube will take it down, or not show my video to y'all. Like those moving pictures, that's what they're selling. They're selling that stuff, and you guys are looking upon that stuff, and it becomes very cheap, very quickly. And the ones who are not very cheap are modestly dressed, carry themselves well, and they have a dignity. And when a woman has that dignity, the man comes correct with dignity towards her. Now, I can flip it around too, guys, because here's how you guys can flip it around. And you got to start thinking with your mind and not, following your passions. Okay? Because if you follow your passions, you get caught up in that, that type of scandally clad woman, and that'll happen 100%. But if you're thinking correctly, like thinking about, hey, number one, you're more valuable than that. Okay, so more value for you. Like you got to think about that. Like you should have more value about yourself. You should be a guy worth having value for your own self. If you have value for yourself, why would you put yourself in that situation for quick pleasure? I mean, I know why you guys would do it, but you shouldn't do that. You should have more self-respect for yourself. And when you do, you're going to start seeking out a woman like Alice Von Hildebrand is speaking about, that you want to approach that beauty with reverence and veneration. And that's what she's talking about. So think about that, guys. And this goes back to, kind of choosing a wife and deciding what you're going to do. And I'll tell you this too. The less encounters that you have with the other type of women, the better you're going to be. And it becomes easier and easier and easier every single time. So that way, you guys get to choose. And that's the whole deal of it. Like you want to choose what's going to be the best for you to have a family with. Not the most fun, because looks and all those things like that fades away. You want character, you want value, you want modesty. Like think about those things and start playing your cards in the right way. And I'm telling you this from a guy who has a ton of experience of doing stupid things. A ton of experience of doing stupid things. And this is true. And you guys got to think about it this way as well. How would you want your daughters treated? What would you want for your son? Speak to your even self like a child, like a father to a son. Would you want that for yourself when you're looking at that person? When you're looking at that woman, would you want that for yourself? Or would you say, don't do that, you moron. You're going to mess up your life. So think about this, guys. That's it. Subscribe if you like what I have to say. That's it. Out.